Mindsetters, welcome to today's Maths Literacy Show. Today we have a special revision lesson on data handling. We have selected highlights of lessons shown early in the term to help you revise Term 1's work. Please post all your questions and comments on our Facebook page on facebook.com/LearnExtra or on Twitter @LearnExtra so we can help you with your revision. Don't forget to download today's show notes on learn.mindset.co.za or click on the link on our Facebook page. Now it's time to get on with our lesson.
We're going to look at a set of data, and with this set of data, we're then going to draw up a frequency table. Let's see what we're doing. Read the question behind us. James, do you want to read it?
Okay.
Cool, let's go for it.
Everything tested me, okay. A very bored grade 11 student sat at the school gate, counted the different color cars that drove past and the sex of the driver. M is equal to male, F is equal to female, and the results were as follows.
Okay, so let's just paint the picture here. We have a student grade 11 who's utterly bored. Why someone would want to do this, I have no idea. But he goes and sits at the school gate, and there he sits on the pavement, and he counts the different color of cars that come past him, and he makes a note of them. And not only does he do that, but he also looks and see whether it's a male or female driver. Okay, so and he doesn't have to worry about that because he'll know the car that's going in a straight line's male and the other one curving all over the street. No, I'm joking, I didn't say that. You're not allowed to say things like that on TV. All right.
Never.
Females are some of the best drivers ever. Moving on. Okay, so a very bored grade, except my mother-in-law. My word, it's the most horrific thing driving with her. It really is. Okay, a very bored grade 11 student sat at the school. Now, he counts, and this is what he sees. Now, he just writes down the information. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this information and we're going to plot it down on a frequency table. Now, let's have a look at this frequency table. It's slightly different to what you've seen because it's broken up into two sections. It's broken up into males as well as females. So not only do we have to tally in the correct color, but we also have to tally with the correct sex, whether it's male or female. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So what I'm going to do now, and guys, I need you to help me remember because this is not all going to fit on. Okay, so we're going to look at the first row. White male, red female, red female. Okay? So, white male, then red female, red female. Cool. Next one. Oops, here we go. Red male, green male, white female. Will you remember that?
No.
I tell you what, Wayne, you remember red male, green male, and you remember white male, white female.
Okay.
Okay, right, let's go. Wayne, what did you have to remember?
Red male,
Red male,
green male.
green male. Cool. James?
White
male,
white female.
Oh my goodness.
I think so.
Now the great news is, no, we still got
right.
to remember some more. Okay, right. James, green female, red male. Wayne, green female, red male. James, red male, green female. Okay, Wayne, what are you remembering?
Green female, red male.
Green female,
Red male.
red male. James,
I got a red female,
red female.
and I think it was a green male.
You think it was a green male.
I
Okay.
really don't.
Here
Was
we
I
go.
right?
Green,
No,
red
there's
male.
a red male and a green female.
You know, you do realize you've messed up our entire thing and we have to start again. All right, Wayne, I'm going to rely on you.
Okay.
Okay, let's go for it. I don't know what's going on
This is
with
shocking.
James today, but you know what? There's one in every village. Okay, so let's go for it. Now, white male, red female. White male, red female. Cool. Next one. We have red female, red male. Red female, red male. Okay.
Red male.
Next one. We have green male, white male. Green male, white male. And then we also have a white female. White female. Cool. You understand how we're going along here? Right, we have to do the whole thing, so let's go quickly. Green female, red male. Green female, red male. Next one. Red male, green female. Red male, Green,
female.
female. Green, female.
Gee,
Cool.
it's easy now, sir, because it's there.
It is indeed. Okay, red male, white female. Red male, white female.
Female.
Cool. And then I have a white male. Right. Done that row. We're on row 3. And let's just go up slightly. Oops. There we go. Okay. White female, blue male. White female and a blue male. Sounds like we're calling the people colours, eh? Right. Green female, white male. Green female,
White male.
white male. Next one. Blue female, blue
Blue male.
male. Blue female, blue male. Last row. Here we go. Blue male. Red female.
Blue male.
Blue male.
Blue male.
And yellow,
Yellow
female.
And yellow
Female.
Okay. Now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we are going to write in the frequencies. What do I mean by write in the frequencies? Well, we're going to add up all the tallies and just write the answer down. Okay, Wayne, let's do the males. Away
Okay.
we go.
So it's 4,
4,
4,
good,
4,
right,
1.
and
And that totals up, 0.
0. Do
Okay.
we have to put 0?
No.
Yes,
Yeah, we do. Hey.
we have to.
Guys, 0 is a number. Ask me, check my bank balance. 0 is a number. Okay? Right, next one. I was going to say ask James, Mr. James's intelligence. That's a number 0. But we won't go be horrible. Right, James, let's go. Female.
3,
Nice. Then,
3,
then,
1,
then,
3,
then.
1.
Okay, great. Now, we're going to ask you some questions on this. Let's go. Wait. How many cars came past the students?
So we have to
We have to add,
add
them all
everything up, yes.
Absolutely. And let's do that, guys. So, I've got 4, then,
8,
then,
12,
then.
13.
Brilliant. James, keep going. I've got 3, then.
Oh, we're going from 13.
No.
Oh.
3, then.
6,
Then.
7,
Then.
10,
Then.
11.
Great. Okay, so we got 13, we got 11. I'm going to use a different color because I don't know if you folk can see that at the moment. Wayne, 13 plus 11?
24.
24. Brilliant. So here's the question.
I got 24.
How many cars came past that student? James?
24.
Absolutely. How easy is that? Okay?
Too easy.
And that would be like a paper 1 type question. Just basic little questions, right? But paper 1 is just as important as paper 2 because paper 1 counts 50%, paper 2 counts 50%. So when you get easy questions, work hard at them and make sure you can answer them. Okay, what is the most popular color car? James, can we answer that?
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and
Blue.
Absolutely wrong, huh? The most popular color
Colour.
car.
Exactly.
Now, what James has done is he's read the question and he hasn't read the question. Does that make sense? Okay? So sometimes you can read something, but you're not actually taking note of what the question's saying. So the question is not saying to us, what color car is popular amongst the different sexes? It's saying, what car is the most popular in total? So how many people like red, guys?
7.
7, absolutely. How many people like white?
7.
7 as well. How many people like blue?
5.
Only 5, eh? How many people like green?
4.
And how many people like yellow?
1.
1 yellow car. Now again,
One
James,
yellow.
I'll ask you with tears in my eyes. What is the most popular color car?
Red and white.
Red and
White.
white. Absolutely. Those are the 2 popular cars. Now, guys, I'm glad James messed up there, all right? Because I want to stress this point. How sometimes we can read something, but we interpret it the way we want to interpret it, instead of taking it slowly and reading the question carefully. And folk, in your exams, especially in matric, when you are really, really nervous at the end of the year. AB, do you remember those days?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, were you nervous in your final exams?
Not much. I was
Oh, well, that
a
just
bit,
stuffed
just
up
a
my
bit.
theory there.
I never get nervous for a test or exam.
Don't
That's
you?
how I am. I panic on the first day when I hear that I'm going to write on the 15th, and then that's when I panic. But as the day approaches, I become cool.
Okay, so AB is a bit of a freak. He doesn't get nervous for exams. The rest of you out there really panic and worry about exams. All right, you too as well, I know that. Before you write your final exams in grade 11, you were nervous. Now, if you take that nervousness and you now multiply it by 10, you're getting close to how nervous you chaps are going to be when you write your final exam. And guys, when you write a final exam and when you get nervous, you tend to make a lot of careless errors. And one of the things you must always do is read the question and then read it again to make sure you've understood that question. You know what I love to do the one day? The one day my wife went into a bank and I was waiting for her and she was there arguing with the manager why we have no money whatsoever. Meantime, she's like just drawn and drawn and drawn and didn't understand why there's just not this continuous abundance of money pouring in. She believes that you take the card, you put it in, you remember 4 digits, and you win the lotto. Money comes out. Okay. But so there she was, and I was sitting in the bank on a bench just watching what was going on around me. And the one thing I noticed was this. In fact, there were 2 things. The one thing, on the door, it said from the outside, push. Okay? And I can't tell you how many people got to the door and tried to pull it. And then realized, oh yeah, push. And then they walked in. So they saw the sign, but they didn't see it. The other thing I found amusing was there was a step in the bank. Okay? And there was a sign that said, mind the step. Now, you couldn't miss the sign because it was freaking big right there. And so many people would look at the sign and then do, you know how you kind of like don't see the step? And I kept thinking, can't you see the sign? They saw the sign, but they didn't see the sign. James, you saw the question, but you didn't see
the question.
Okay. Right, let's have a look at our next question. Now, James, which color or colors is or are favored among the women? Okay?
That would be, red, white, and green.
Absolutely. You're looking over here because we're talking females. Oops, there we go. We're talking the females, right? So we know it's got to be in that column, and the one with the highest is red, white, and yellow. Next question, Wayne, let's have a look at it. It's for you. It says, which color or colors is or are favored amongst the men?
Well,
and that's going to be?
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue.
Blue.
Absolutely. Straightforward question, isn't it? Okay? And that's a type you'll find in paper 1. But it's a nice question to start with because it's setting the basics for this entire section. Let's have a look at our next question today. Right. Consider the cumulative frequency table below, which is a summary of the results after a class of boys were asked, which is your favorite color? Okay. Now, we haven't seen this word yet. Well, not today. Okay. I'm a little bit nervous to ask, but I'm going to do it anyway. James, do you know what a cumulative frequency table
Why do you put me on the spot?
Okay, so that means no. Wayne, do you know what it is? Look in the camera, tell them directly what is a cumulative frequency.
Well, I guess a cumulative frequency is like a shorter version of saying accumulate of everything. So everything put together.
We got a brain here. Hey? It kind of restores your belief in
But you told me to give that one to Wayne.
It does,
outside.
trust me.
Okay.
You were like, give it to Wayne. He got
Right,
it.
so it's a collection of all the data. So let's have a look at this. Okay. Now, we're going to complete this. Guys, there's something missing here. What's missing?
A tally.
A tally.
A tally. Now we want 6. So we know we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Cross.
5, 6.
6, yeah.
Agreed?
Definitely.
What's missing over here?
Where were you there? Oh, the
4.
number.
And
Sorry.
here?
2.
2.
And here?
4.
4. Okay. Now, like Wayne, and he actually described that very well. I'm impressed. Eh? The cumulative is the collection. Right. So now, here we asked 6 boys. Then we asked another 4, which takes us to
10.
10.
And then there were another 2, which takes us to
12.
12. Okay. Right, Wayne, keep quiet. Let's test James. James, then we asked 4, which takes us to?
I'm joking. 16s.
We nearly messed up. 16. Okay, brilliant. Now let's ask questions. Our questions we're going to say is this. Draw a bar graph using the set of axes provided. Here's the set of axes. Okay. Now, chaps, we've got to do two things first. One, label our graph, and two, label the set of
Axes.
Okay. What is our graph going to be? What are we going to call it?
Can you
It
go?
could vary, hey? Now, I'm glad they're thinking about it because there's no definite right answer. There could be a number of answers. Okay, so they've got to give it some thought, but they can't think too long. All right, James, what would you say?
I thought you said I could get us some thought. Okay. Anyway, bar graph showing. Can you go up? I just want to see what they're comparing up there. I forgot. Okay. Bar graph showing your favorite color.
Okay, we don't have to say bar graph.
Oh, okay, you just say
We're
graph.
just going to say favorite colors,
Ah,
right? Wayne, what would you have said?
Well, is it the favorite colors for the cars?
No, just favorite
Oh,
colors.
it's just favorite colors. So
Okay,
I'd have been like,
absolutely. We finished cars, eh? That
Okay.
was question number one.
Okay.
Let's do it and go.
I would have maybe
Okay.
said,
Now, Wayne, help me out here.
Okay.
Here, on our vertical axis, we've got to give it a label.
Okay.
Right. Look at the camera. Tell
Okay.
the viewers what's that label going to be.
well, the label will be the number of boys who actually chose that color.
Okay, the number of boys. Nice. Another word we can use, James, is
maybe there. Oh, frequency.
absolutely, because frequency means the
Frequency,
number of.
yes.
Okay, so we could have also said frequency. Now, what are we going to put as our label on our horizontal axis?
The different colors.
Different colors. Cool, nice, I like that. Right. And what were our colors? Can we remember?
Blue,
red, green, and
yellow.
Okay, so we're going to have blue. We're going to have...
Green.
Was it green or was
Was
it
it,
green?
Red, it's red.
Red.
Red,
Then
Green, then yellow.
Then
Yellow.
yellow. Brilliant. Okay. Now we're going to pop those onto our diagram. Now, folk, I cheated a little bit and I drew a whole lot of bars before the show. Okay, so let's have a look at it. Blue. How many blue were there, James?
Where we 6.
6, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to draw 6 blue. Right, here we go. Check out how cool is that, eh? Right, that's
Technology.
brilliant. Oh, not quite 6. There we go. Okay, how many, Wayne, red did I have?
4.
4. Okay, so I'm going to bring red. Hopefully, yeah, here she comes. And I'm going to put it over here. How many red did we have?
4.
4 red.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't quite 3, it was 4. Now there's a way to make this bigger and I have no idea how, so let's try. Eh? Okay. Alright, it's not getting bigger. I tried to be clever and it didn't work. Okay, so let's get rid of that red and let's just build our own little square here. Okay, so there it is and it's got to go to 4.
4.
Cool. Right. Then we had green.
Green.
And green was?
2.
2. So we've got green over here, and let's just bring green up, and there it is, 2 green. And finally, yellow, we had
4.
4 as well. Okay, so we're going to bring yellow, and let's bring it up to 4, and it's not quite 4, so we'll throw that away, and we will draw our own one. Okay, it's lovely being on live TV and things are going according to plan. Okay, here we go, and it's 4 yellow. All right, straightforward, chaps. Now, just by looking at that graph, we could ask you some questions. And we could ask the chaps, what's the favorite color? James?
Blue.
Great. Wayne, what's the least favorite color?
Green.
Green. Straight away. It's straight easy to see. We don't have to look at all this information. We can see it on our chart straight away. So, a class of 24 students made up of 16 boys and 8 girls. Guys, do you think that's important?
Yeah. A class of 24
Do you
students.
think it's important that they tell us how many boys, how many girls?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, why would you say it's important?
So you can compare it in your data.
Okay, well, I'd say even more
Well,
simpler than that.
yeah.
Because they told us. And in a maths lit exam, they're not going to tell you stuff that you don't need
To
to
know.
work with. Okay? And that you don't need to know. Absolutely. Right. So any information we get given, is it important?
Yes.
Absolutely. They say, looking at the camera. Okay.
Yes.
Now, next. So, 16 boys, 8 girls, and now they're asked, what channel do you enjoy watching the most? Or what sport, rather, do you enjoy watching the most? Okay. I have a problem with this table.
You've got values
Okay.
there.
It's got values and it doesn't have
Numbers.
So we can't say a number of people watch.
Although we didn't use
Athletics.
letters in
Oh my word. Okay. And we can't say B number of girls watch swimming. So we've got to work it out. How can we determine how many boys watch athletics, Wayne?
Well, we could add all the sports up, and then the remaining
Okay. Or the remaining
the remaining amount would be then divided into two to separate for the swimming for the girls and or actually no.
We
We would
there's
work with the
16
16 and the 8
Okay,
and the
so
8
let's
girls.
do that.
Yes.
So, Wayne, 9 plus 4
That's 13,
plus 1,
14.
14. Okay?
Yes.
So how many guys watch athletics?
Two.
Yes, two, because there are
16 boys.
Quite nice, eh? Right, James. Here we go. How many girls watch swimming? Let's first of all add the number of girls. 1.
Well, how many were there? 8 girls.
No, let's just add.
Oh, okay,
1
sure.
plus
1,
2
3,
plus
4,
1.
6.
6. How many girls were there, James?
So 8.
8 girls. Okay.
Yes.
So how many girls enjoy watching swimming on TV?
2.
2. And we got that because 8 girls, 6 watch other sport, 2 must be enjoying swimming.
Alright, Mindsetters, I hope you guys are enjoying this revision session. Remember, if you are struggling and need help, please post your question on our Facebook page or send an email to helpdesk@learnextra.co.za. Now it's time to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. I'm sure you've seen and heard about the Mindset Rack nomination and hope you'll get involved. If you make a video, post it on YouTube with the title #LearnExtraRack followed by your name or the name of your group. If you don't have a video, post a photo on our Facebook page and tell us what you've done. Let's use this short holiday to make a big difference in other people's lives. Now, let's get back to revision.
Let's have a look at a summary of what we're going to cover today. First of all, we have to know what the median is. And after arranging the data in order, the median is the center of that arranged data. Okay, now for the key element in working out the median. Now remember, this is a rather weird type to talk about medians, because normally we bring median in when we're talking statistics, when we're talking about mean and modes and ranges, and then we also talk about this thing called median. But we have to cover it right now because we need the median when we draw or when we start looking at this whole concept of a box and whisker plot. Okay, so what is a median? A median is the center of all my data, but I have to arrange that data in order. Now, James, do I arrange that data from smallest to biggest or biggest to smallest?
Smallest to biggest.
Okay, right, from smallest to biggest. Does it have to be from smallest to biggest, James?
Yes.
Absolutely wrong. Okay, it does not have to be from smallest to biggest. Because whether it's from smallest to biggest or from largest to smallest, it really doesn't matter because you're still going to find the middle of that data. However, I always say to my guys, always arrange it
From smallest to biggest.
from smallest to biggest. Why?
It's just easier to work with.
Absolutely. It's a lot easier to work with. Okay. So when you were a little kid and your mother taught you to count, she would say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? She would never say 10, 9, 8, 7. I think that just boggled the mind. So it's natural to want to start from the smallest to the largest. Okay? So again, when you were small, you learned to count that way. Last year, you learned to count that way.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's what I always encourage my students to do. Arrange the data in order. Now, all data can be broken up into 4 quarters. Okay. Now, I get a set of data, I arrange it in order. From my smallest all the way through to my largest. When I've got all that information arranged in that order, I can cut it up into 4 equal parts. And 4 equal parts are
4 quarters.
Absolutely. Okay, be bold, be confident.
There,
You know
okay,
the
I'm getting
answer,
there,
James.
sir.
All right. Well, he thinks he does. Okay, so we've got quarters. Right. So here we've got quarter 1 up from the beginning to this point here. So from the beginning to that point. My second quarter is from this line to the center line. Then my third quarter is up to my next line, and finally the fourth quarter is from from 3/4 of the way to the whole way. Now guys, those lines have names. Okay, let's have a look at it. This line, in fact, let's start in the middle. This line in the middle is what we would term the median. Now, you know that from grade 10, and you know that from grade 11, that when I arrange my data in order and I take the middle one, that is my median, okay? That is my middle. Listen to it. Median, middle. Say it.
Median, middle.
Absolutely. Say it like a pro. So that's my middlemost figure. And because it's my middle figure, it's called my median, but we give it another name. What's another name for a median, James?
The middle number.
Quartile?
Oh, quartile 2.
Absolutely. Okay.
Talking about
So here now, the middle between my start and the middle is quartile
1.
The middle between my median and the end is quartile
3.
3. Okay. So let's go through that again. I can take all my data and I can arrange it in order from the smallest right through to the biggest. Okay? Then I can break it up into 4 segments or 4 quarters. The lines that break them up are called quartiles. Quartile 1 breaks it between the middle and the beginning. Quartile 2 is the middle. And quartile 3 breaks that data between the middle and the
End.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's how it all works out. Now, last week I showed you this diagram over here. And I said that we can display data using bar charts. Okay, and we covered that and we understood it. All right. We looked at multiple bar charts, and James was quite creative in drawing his multiple bar chart. We looked at histograms. We looked at something called pie charts, but what we didn't look at was this thing called a box and whisker plot. And I said to you last week we would cover it this week, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's have a look at this. If you look at this diagram is what is known as a box and whisker plot. Okay. Now, what I start off with is I start off with a number line. Okay. On that number line, I'm now going to plot my lowest mark and my highest mark. Let's have a look at this. This over here, so this number, whatever that number is, let's say this goes from 0 to 50. Let's just say, okay? So you're in a class, you're writing a test, the test is out of 50. Okay? So now, on that test, my number line, first of all, is going to be from 0 to 50. I can't go lower than 0. Well, James?
Well, you can, but no, you can't.
Okay,
You can't get below
James
0.
has gone lower than 0 once before, but that's another story.
Been through it, it's not that lacquer.
So we start at 0 and we can't go higher than 50. So my number line will be from 0 to 50. Now my lowest mark I'm going to plot on this graph. And let's say our lowest mark here is 10 out of 50. Okay? So there is 10 out of 50, and we're going to say then that that is James's mark. Okay. Now we have a much higher mark, the highest mark. And let's say this mark is 48%. Right? Or 48, out of 50, not 48%. So this mark is my highest mark. Now, I draw the box. And in drawing the box, I start off by saying this line here represents quartile 1. In other words, James, what percentage of marks lie between my lowest number and my quartile 1?
25%.
25%. So 25% of students got between 10 and my lower quartile. And let's just say, for argument's sake, my lowest quartile is 30. So 25% of the class got between 10 and 30 marks out of 50. Okay, now, between quartile 1 and quartile 2, and quartile 2 is also known as?
Median.
Median, brilliant. What percentage of students?
25%.
Again, another 25%. So 25, and I'm going to make this another figure. Let's say this is 34, okay? So 25% of my students got between 30 and 34. Cool? Or from 30 to 34. Now, what percentage of students are between quartile 2 and quartile 3?
25%.
25% again. And it must be because we're dealing in quarters.
Quarters.
And let's just say, for argument's sake, that this is 43 marks. Okay? So what we're saying is 25% of students got a mark from 34, or between 34 and 43%.
No, out of 50.
Sorry, out of 50. Oh, gee, I've been corrected by my students. That's scary. Okay, let's
smart.
move on. Now, what percentage of students got a mark between 43 and 48?
25 again.
25%. Brilliant. Okay, because it's broken into that quarter. Now, James, think about this carefully. How many students got between 48 out of 50 and 50 out of 50?
No students.
No students. Absolutely. Why?
Because there's already 25 is 100. That's 100% of your students.
That's right. And this
the highest mark
here is showing my highest.
Yeah,
which
so
is
48, which no one got
Brilliant.
above.
How many students got lower than 10?
None.
No. Okay? Nobody. Because 10 was my
Lowest mark.
lowest mark. Absolutely.
I'm sure you've seen the walk together photo on our page. Please post a caption and like the captions that you think are best. The 3 captions with the most likes will each win a pair of tummy tackies. We'll post the winners on Friday, so get to liking and get all your friends to like too. Now it's time to take a break, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. I know you can't wait for the term to end and for the holidays to start. This year we bring you revision sessions from Term 1 from the 28th of March till the 6th of April. These will be repeats of all the Learn Extra live shows from Term 1. These programs will run from 9 a.m. in the morning till 7 p.m. at night. Go to our website learn.mindset.co.za for all the details. But for now, let's get back to the revision.
I brought David John into the studio for a reason, and I'm going to explain that reason to you just now. But obviously, David John doesn't understand the matric work at all, okay? But we're not here to question him. We're here to question James, who also doesn't understand the matric work. No, I'm joking. Folks, I know you think I'm being cruel to James, but he's a great guy. We always teach each other.
Really?
Each other? No, we tease each other. There we go. So, a great guy, and he's with David John today. All right. Now, just to make sure that the intelligence is sort of on the same track, at the moment in grade 5, they're learning about something called Roman numerals. Okay. Now, you know in the old days, when the Romans used to count, they didn't use figures. What did they use, David John?
Letters.
Letters, absolutely. Okay. So, if I call out a number, you'll be able to tell me what it is in Roman terms.
Yes.
Okay, you hope so. James, we're going to start with you though, because you're the matric and you should know better. Agreed?
I think so.
Right, let's go. James, how would I say 151 in Roman time?
I'm not telling you.
XVDM.
All right, absolutely wrong. David John, how would I say 151 in Roman numerals?
CLI.
CLR, absolutely right. Okay, so maybe we should ask David John the matric work. I'm not sure.
Those are
Okay,
Roman numerals.
folks, let's get on with the lesson. All right, we'll come back to those guys just now. What are we going to look at the moment? Something called percentiles. Now, just before the ad break, we looked at a whole set of data, and we said we could take that set of data and we could break it up into quarters. Okay, So a quarter means 25%, the next quarter 25%, the next quarter 25%, and the final quarter 25%, which makes my 100%. But the truth is, folks, we can actually take that data and we can break it up into even smaller segments. In fact, we can break up that data into segments known as percentages. So I can break it up into 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. Now normally we do that when we have a whole range of data, okay? And then we can say, well, where do you fit in? What percentile do you fit in with your marks? How many people in the population got a higher mark for that test than you did, or got a lower mark in the test than you did, okay? We also use percentiles when it comes to height and when it comes to weight. So when you were a tiny little baby and you just burst out of your mother's stomach or wherever you burst out of from, what actually happened was the doctors took you and they put you on a scale. And on putting you on the scale, they would then weigh you and decide whether you were a healthy kid or not. And they would work with a chart known as a percentile chart. And they would be able to say, oi, 40% of babies weigh less than this baby does. And 60% of babies weigh more than this baby. Same with height. We can see how tall you are and work out more or less how many boys or girls of the same age group are taller or shorter than you. Let's have a look at this graph behind me and let me try and explain something here. So this specific graph, when you look at it, you're going to look at it and say, oh my giddy aunt, what's going on here? There are lines every single way you can look. Okay, I have a whole lot of colored lines flowing down the chart, and they're not even a straight line. They're all like curvy and weird and wonderful. Okay, we also, if we look over here, we can see we've got something called weight. So here I'm dealing with weight, and my weight is both in pounds as well as in kilograms. Where would we use pounds, James?
America.
All right, probably in the States or England or something weird and wonderful, probably in the States. But in South Africa, we'd use
Kilograms.
kilograms, absolutely. And because we use kilograms, South Africa, I'm going to focus on my kilograms. But this graph is very interesting because on my vertical scale, not only do I have weight, okay, but I also have height. Let's have a look at this. So not only have we got this weight showing, we've also got height. Now, you've never come across graphs like this before. And so reading information can be quite tricky. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. And you know what? Before long, you'll know exactly how to do it. So we're going to do an experiment today. We're going to call both James and David John. And we're going to see how heavy they are. All right? We're going to weigh them. And then we're also going to see how tall they are. And when we've done that, we'll be able to say, James, so many boys your age are shorter than you, and so many boys are taller than you. And David John, the same with you. Okay? We'll be able to tell, we're going to measure your height, but we're also going to measure your weight. And we'll be able to tell you how many boys your age are heavier than you and how many are lighter than you. Okay, now this could be kind of scary, but anyway. Guys, what do you want to start with, the height or the weight?
Let's go weight first.
Let's go weight. Okay, that's what we're going to do. David John, I'm going to start with you. So if you don't mind walking over here. All right. So we have a scale on the floor, and you are going to stand on the scale. All right?
All right.
I'm going to turn the scale around. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to ask you to stand on it. Stand on it. James, do you want to come and
Sure.
you stand with both legs straight, my boy? If you bend the one, it's not going to make you lighter. Okay. All right. So his weight is, James?
47.5 kilograms.
47.5 kilograms. Right. Thank you, David John. You can get off the scale. All right. Now, folk, I want to say this. I feel sorry for this young man because he has a slight problem. And his problem is his parents. And I'm his dad, okay, which is kind of unfortunate. So you can send through your messages of condolences for the kids, and I'm sure Ibrahim will take those messages. Is that right, Ibrahim?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, great. All right, so you weigh 47.5 5 kilograms. Okay. I want you to stand here next to, in fact, stand here next to me, and we're going to plot you on this graph behind me.
All right.
Got that? Okay. So let's have a look at it. Now, what I'm going to do is this. First thing I've got to ask you, David John, and this is a trick question. Okay. How old are you?
Let me think for a while. 10.
10. Absolutely. Okay. And it's a good thing you gave it thought, because the last time I asked you, you got it wrong. Okay. So he's 10 years old, but to be fair on him, he has a birthday coming up shortly in the next 2 weeks or so, or something like that. When's your birthday?
What the heck?
11th of April. Okay. Birthday is the 11th of April, right? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to say, you know what, you're not quite 10, you're about, I'm going to mark it as 10 and a half. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this. Right, so you are 10, in fact you're 10 and a half, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to draw a straight line on that age group, so we know exactly what we're dealing with. So 10, in fact I'm going to try and make it even closer to 11, because you're very close to 11, okay? There's your age. Right. Now, we're going to look at kilograms. So what we're going to do then is we are going to say, right, let's have a look, not at our pounds. We're not interested in pounds. We're interested in kilograms. Right, David John. Now I need to ask you, how heavy were you? Can you remember?
47.5.
47.5. Cool, so let's do that. So if you look carefully at this graph, we got 40, 45, 47.5 is somewhere in the middle over there, right? Very close. Now what we're going to do is we're going to see where those two lines cross, okay? So let's do that. So I'm just going to get a circle this. So it crosses at that point. Now folks, if you look at these curvy lines and you're saying to yourself, what are these curvy lines all about? Well, these curvy lines are my percentiles. So if we look at the graph here, we can see that this blue line is a 3 percentile, 10 percentile, 25, 50, 75, 90, 95. I'll explain what that means now. But basically, David John, you are just above the 90th percentile. Okay. What does that mean, boy?
Need to lose some weight.
Absolutely. Because what it actually, in fact, James, let's ask you, come stand over here. What does the 95th percentile tell you?
Okay, well, basically that means that 5% of the population is heavier than him, and snap me out here.
95.
95% of the population is lighter than him.
Okay. So, boy, what we're saying to you is this, eh? That of all 10-year-old boys, close on 11, 95% of them, in fact, it's not quite 95, it's about 92, 93, about 92% of all 10-and-a-half-year-olds weigh lighter than you. Okay. Only 8% of 10-year-olds are heavier than you.
There's got to
Come
be
here,
an
boy.
up there somewhere.
We got to do something about that, my boy. Okay?
You
You coming out that's like your mom. All right. So, okay, folks. Do you understand what we did? Now what we're going to do is we're going to do it again, but this time with James. So, James, I'm going to ask you to come around, and I'm just going to turn this on. David John, I need you to read the scale, please. Let's hold on. Okay. Right. Climb on. Please remember it's glass, eh? Okay, here we go. And you weigh, what's it say, David John?
74.5.
Brilliant. 74.5 kilograms. Okay, guys, I'm going to ask you to take your place back there. And let's find another line here. I'm going to use a different color. What color do you like, James?
Red.
Okay, we'll use yellow. Right, now, James, how old are you?
18.
18, exactly. When do you turn 19?
Next year, February.
Oh, so you just turned 18,
Yeah.
eh? So you
Just
got your
there.
license?
Almost.
Almost. Let me know when you do, and we'll just evacuate the road. Okay, so here you go. So you're 18 years old, and I'm going to draw a line all the way up the 18. I hope we can see that yellow line. The producer talking to me. Can we see that yellow line? He's not talking to me. Okay. Oh, you can't see yellow. All right, so let's go green. Okay, we're going to go green. Here's green. And green goes all the way up on that line. Okay.
Perfect.
Now, James, what was your weight? What did we say?
74.5.
74.5. Okay, so 74.5 is very close to 75. So we're going to mark it right about over there, very close to 75. And what we're now going to do is do this. We are going to say that your weight is on my red line, this line that's flowing down off the graph. Okay. And that particular line is my 75th percentile. What does that mean, James?
That means that 75% of the population
Of 18-year-olds, hey?
of 18-year-olds are
Right.
lighter than me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're fat.
Oh, that's great.
Not at all. Okay, and I want to talk about that shortly. And what else does it mean?
25% of the population is heavier than me.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, folk, are these scales or are these percentiles a good indication of whether you are thin or fat or whatever the case is? Well, the truth is we've got to be very careful before we judge someone who fits onto that percentile, because these percentiles don't take into account that you might be going to gym. So David John, you go to gym and you push weights and you do running and you do, and so David John, although he's in the 92nd percentile, doesn't mean he's a big fat kid. It means he's a strong kid. Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. James, well, he's got no excuse. All right. Okay. Do we understand that, folks? Do we understand how we use percentiles? And we're going to show you later on how we can use it in question, or different types of questions. Right, I'm going to ask both James and David John to come here in front again. And we're going to get rid of the scale so we don't hurt ourselves. And now what we're going to do, James and David John, we're going to measure how tall you both are. All right.
Okay, perfect.
So James, I'm going to ask you to go down to the ground. Don't go any lower than that. Okay, so here we go. And I'm saying David John's round about this height, which is round about 1 meter 45 centimeters, or
45
centimeters.
centimeters.
Okay. All right. So should we do you first, or should we measure James's height at the same time?
James's.
Okay, let's do James's height at the same time, and then we can do all this. Right, my boy. Okay, James, you're going to turn at an angle. All right, so that everyone can see. All right, so here we go. Right, down you go to the ground, please. Again, not any lower than that. Head up. Here we go. I know you're trying to make yourself taller, but it's not going to work, so just stay there. Okay. Right, we are around about 178.
Cool.
Okay. So, David John, how tall were you?
1 meter and 47.
Okay.
45.
45, eh? 145. You're remembering this for us. And you were?
178.
Okay, absolutely. Please remember that, because that's what we said. All right, behind the screen, and let's plot what's going to happen. So now I'm looking at my height scale. Here it is over here, height. Now, David John, let's have a look at what happened to you. We're now looking at the height. Can you see it in centimeters? So it's all these numbers over here. Whoops, I've got the wrong pen here. All kinds of weird things have happened. Okay, let's get rid of that. Good, and we'll get rid of that. Good, and let's start again. Okay, David John, how tall were you again?
1 meter and 45.
Okay, 1 meter 45. I don't have meters in my scale, I have centimeters. So 1 meter 45 is
145 centimeters.
145 centimeters, absolutely. So here you are here, David John, on this line. Oopsie, this line's gone all wrong. Let's get rid of that line as well. I don't know why I'm doing all this wrong
Up,
today.
it's back. There's back.
Okay, don't worry about that. Right, here we go. So 145 over there, and now if I were to circle that, we're over here, which is just less than the 75th percentile. Okay? Let's say round about 70th percentile. James, what does the 70th percentile mean?
Means that 70% of the population of all almost 11-year-olds
Okay.
are lighter than him.
Not lighter.
I
We're now
mean,
talking
sorry,
height.
they're shorter than him.
Absolutely.
And
Hey?
30% of almost 11-year-olds are taller than him.
Okay. So, David John, you're not average height. You're a little bit taller than most of your classmates at school. Okay? Right. James, let's have a look at yours. And we're using the color green, so let's go for it. Okay. Now, James, how tall were you?
178 centimeters.
178 centimeters, which is close to 180. Do you agree?
Yep.
So that's somewhere over there. Now, if we look at that, we've got to increase this green line a little bit because we haven't quite got there. So let's do that. So we're going up, and there we are. All right. So now, what are we looking at? If we see where it crosses about halfway between the 50th and the 75th percentile. Okay, what's halfway between 50 and 75?
That's like 65.
About
or
62 and a half.
62 and a half is good. So we go with 62 and a half.
Okay, about 62 and a half. Let's make it easy for you. Let's say 60th percentile. What's that telling me?
That means that 60% of 18-year-olds are shorter than me.
All right.
And 40% are taller than me.
Absolutely. Okay. So that also means something else. That if you're wanting to date girls that are shorter than you, you don't have such a wide choice.
Not at all.
Okay. In fact, it's got nothing to do with their height. You just don't have a wide choice. Now, how could we ask you those questions in the exam? Obviously, in the exam, we're not going to bring David, John, and James into your exam room and let them stand on a scale and measure how high they are. It's just not going to happen. So how do they ask that in an exam? Let's have a look. So my first question is this. On what percentile does a 7-year-old lie if he is 130 centimeters high? Okay. Now, we got 2 bits of information. My first information is what, James?
That is a 7-year-old.
It's a 7-year-old. What's my second information?
The height.
The height. Okay. So because I'm 7 years old, I know I'm going to look at the information that comes down on this 7-year-old. Okay? I'm dealing in height, so I'm staying on top of my graph. What's the other information I'm told?
It's 170 centimeters tall. Oh, 30. 130,
okay.
Sorry.
So we've got the 7-year-olds at 130 centimeters. Let's go across from 130 and see what's actually going to happen. So when we do that, and the line's gone a little skew, but this is what happens. Okay, it won't happen with you in exam though, because you've got a nice straight ruler. Okay, so where does it actually cross? If we look at that, we can see that it crosses on this blue line. Now, what is that blue line? As we follow it up, we see it hits on the 90th percentile. So this little 7-year-old, 90% of all, what are we dealing with? Boys or girls here? Okay, it doesn't say. It just says weight percentile. So this little 7-year-old, 90% of the population weighs, or of 7-year-olds weigh less than her.
No, are shorter than
Are
her.
shorter than her, that's right, not weight. Are shorter than her. 10% are
Taller.
okay, fantastic. Let's see what another type of question it could ask. It could say, explain what your answer means, and we just have done that. Now, a 19-year-old who weighs 70 kilograms lies on what percentile? So, we're going for, how old are they, James?
19 years old.
19 years old, brilliant. So let's use green. Why? Because I want to. Okay. So on the green, 19 years old, here they are. So we know we're going to find that information somewhere on that green line. What else do we know?
We're also given the weight.
Which was?
I think it was, I'm not too
Have a
sure.
look
Let's
at it
go down
quickly.
there.
It was
70
kilograms. So we're looking at 70 kilograms. Okay. So we're now looking at weight. Here it is, 70 kilograms. And this is the line over there, which means that this person is lying here on this line going over here, which is my 50th percentile, which means that person is what sort of height?
Average height.
Average height. What sort of average though, James?
Median average.
Median average. Nice, because it's the middle of all my students. Lovely. Okay, fantastic. What other kind of question could they ask? They could say, how heavy is a 15-year-old who lies on the 25th percentile? Now they're giving you the percentile and they're giving you the age, but they're now asking how
Heavy.
So let's look at that. Right, 15 years old, 25th percentile. Right, so 15 years old. Let's get another color going here. Let's try, I don't know, blue, shall we? Yeah, okay. So 15-year-old, here they are. Geez, we've got a phenomenal big line there.
Sheesh.
And we said they're on what percentile?
25th, I think it was.
25th percentile. Okay, so 25th percentile is this curvy line over here. Right. Now, how heavy is the person? Well, if I were to draw a straight line from where those lines intersect, I get, what's the weight,
50 kgs.
50 kilograms. Okay. Can you see how we play with this all the time? Guys, this is a great, great type of question to be able to answer, because once you master it, you can't go wrong. Remember, I've got 3 bits of information. I've got my height, my age, and the percentile line, or my weight, my age, and my percentile line. And the examiner can give you any 2 of those, and you've got to find the 3rd one. So he could give you the percentile and the age, and you've got to find the weight or height. He could give you the weight or height and the age, and you've got to find the percentile. Or he could give you the percentile, the height or weight, and you've got to calculate the age. Okay.
We've come to the end of our show. Thank you so much, Mindsetters, for joining me and for chatting to me during the show. Remember to visit our website, learn.mindset.co.za, to get your notes and to watch the videos from the term. Goodbye.